and welcome to another episode of the Nonsense Review. I am your forever host, Devon. As you may well know, we're on like episode 12 of this now. Been a long time. And joining me once again is Rick. Say hello, Rick.
Hello, Rick. But today we are doing the third episode of Steven Universe, and it's the second episode in a row where we're doing concurrent episodes. We're doing the second part of the one that we started last time, and the follow-on episode of the other one. It's going to make a lot more sense in a moment.
Well, it's not going to be a moment, it's going to be a while, because Rick buggered up and did the segments in the wrong order, in that he introduced what we're reviewing before I asked him how his week was.
Well, okay, but I thought it was important to let people know what we're actually doing this time.
That's what the description's for.
Yeah, but that requires people to read.
It's not the most advanced, skill in this day and age.
Yeah, especially since you have to literally click the link.
Yeah, but anyway, how's your week?
Pretty good. People in the family got out of hospital, which is nice, and that's the highlight. How about you?
Well, once again, I have enough things to fill out a list, so this is going to be a long intro, guys. And part of the reason why I was a little bit miffed at Rick for skipping the segment, or rather jumbling the segments over. Alrighty, first things first. I've taken a punt on the world being back to normal by December. Me and a buddy of mine have obtained tickets to see Ailstorm in concert.
Oh yeah, nice.
And that's going to be in London. So hopefully, I see no reason why I wouldn't have had my vaccines by then. But at the same time, there's circumstances you can't foresee. In theory, it should all be dandy, but one never knows.
I don't want to profile people, but out of everybody, I think metal fans tend to be the most sensible.
It's an odd take.
You know what I mean, though, right?
I sort of do.
So, out of any music fan, it's going to be the metal ones who are going to be deferent to doing the right thing. They know the danger of moshing.
Yeah, moshing's dangerous enough without fucking super spreading a disease.
I know, right?
Oh, Jesus. Dude, my first metal concert was with the same guy who I'm going with Ailstorm to, back before the pandemic, and he literally, as the crowds were starting to pile in and the room was more or less packed, he just put his hand on my shoulder and said, if a mosh pit starts, we're going back about 7 rows. He did not want to mosh. I'm not particularly a fan of moshing, truth be told, but hey, people are going to have fun however they want, right?
Yeah.
But yes, oh god.
I was going to say, if the way that you have fun is by beating the shit out of mostly yourself by proximity, then you do you, buddy.
Hey man, as long as they're not dragging people into it who don't want to be there, which, as far as I'm aware, people don't tend to do. Alright, that's fine, have fun. As you say, if your fun involves beating the shit out of yourself, then go nuts. That sounds really bad when you word it that way, don't it? We are not condoning self-harm, motherfuckers.
Man, it reminds me of that video of someone saying, do the most American thing you can, and he just punches himself in the head like 10 times and then salutes.
Oh, you see, I thought where that joke was going to go was him pulling out a Glock and going to the local school.
Well, okay.
Was that too real?
Maybe.
Oh dear. Oh well. Moving on. The Venom 2 trailer dropped.
It did.
What are your opinions? Because I know you've seen the trailer too.
So, I don't know if I specifically like Venom being more or less an antenna in this.
What do you mean by that, sorry?
Like how he'll just pop out of Eddie's back here and there.
Yeah, I think that's... I honestly, the way it seems to be, because of the interaction they have with the shopkeeper, I think that's not literally happening. I think that's just a visual cue for the audience.
Yeah, it might even not be something that makes it into the final version.
Maybe not, because when he greeted the shopkeeper in, I think it's either Chinese or Korean, I couldn't tell you, she didn't react. Eddie had to translate for him.
Oh yeah, so she can't hear Venom. However, it's kind of assumed that she knows that he's there because...
Well, she's seen him take over.
Yeah, she's seen him eat the guy's head in the past.
As much as I don't like the comedic undertones, or overtones, I should say, of the trailer, it did make me chuckle with Venom running a protection racket in exchange for chocolate.
Yep. It must be refreshing to find something that is dead that Venom likes, because he doesn't like anything else that's dead.
I kind of get what you're saying.
Part of one of the gags in the first game, not the first game, in the first movie, is that he only liked live food.
Yeah, I suppose so. Can we also talk about how fucking cute and adorable it is, him trying to make breakfast?
It kind of is. I love how he does it. He makes a fucking mess, like any old dad would, and then just slams it down damn near perfect.
Well, let's be honest. It's more the opposite, isn't it? It's not really a dad so much as a kid making breakfast for dad.
Okay, so yeah, kids are the ones that get it up the wall. Dads are the ones that use 45 pots to make toast.
Oh, but he made modern toast.
Yeah, it was waffles and something.
Shit that should not have been mixed, and there was a lot of it. It had its moments. I'm looking forward to the film because visually I can't fault it in any way. But they seem to be wanting to turn Venom more into Spider-Man, which I think is a mistake. But I'm willing to give it a go.
Well, by the same token, it is Sony, and the more that Spider-Man gets associated with the MCU, and people associate Spider-Man with the MCU version, and Sony's version of Spider-Man falls by the wayside, the more they have to rely on something else to hit that place and fill that void. And it being Venom isn't the worst thing because he's still recognizable. He's still kind of that kind of hero, even though, you know, they've tried to make it a little bit more different and more differentiated and not even connected to Spider-Man at all for some reason.
Well, I understand them not wanting to connect it to Spider-Man because they're not going to put that version of Venom in the MCU as much as I desperately want him to show up in fucking Spider-Man 3. But, you know, it's in that weird place of Venom's not Spider-Man. He shouldn't be Spider-Man. Stop trying to make him Spider-Man.
I was thinking the weird thing, isn't the whole point of Venom copying Spider-Man's abilities the fact that he's seen them firsthand and has been able to replicate them firsthand, rather than them being his abilities to begin with?
Oh, absolutely. The only reason he makes webs and shit is because he first bonded with Spider-Man, and the whole reason why he takes over Eddie in the comics, at least. First of all, he's attracted to him for he's radiating spite and anger, so of course Venom's like, oh, I want some of this shit. And then it turns out the guy has a beef against Spider-Man, and Venom's like, oh, yo, I'm pissed at him too. He threw me away. Let's fucking get him.
Yep.
And obviously, depending on the storyline, sometimes you get down the line, they end up not being friends, but being like, listen, I'm gonna stop fucking with you. Leave me alone.
Teeth clenched teamwork.
Like the first time they ever teamed up, they teamed up for about 5 minutes, and that's because Carnage is a big fucking problem. I don't know how they're gonna deal with Carnage in this movie, by the way, because if they follow the comic book lore, Carnage 100% will kick Venom's ass 10 times out of 10.
10 times out of 10.
Venom always needs help to beat Carnage because Carnage, the rules of the symbiote is the offspring is stronger than the original. And it's weird, isn't it? Because they've not gone into detail on how Carnage is made. I don't think Carnage has ever been on the big screen before, so I don't think it's fair to assume that people will that's the wrong word, will know what his origin is. And considering Venom's not a villain, they can't have Eddie, the only way they can have it done is during one of Eddie Brock's interviews with Cletus, obviously a bit of Venom's going to fall off, and that's going to be the Carnage symbiote. But in the comic books, Venom and Cletus share a cell, and Venom breaks out, and during his breakout, a bit of him gets torn off, and that ends up becoming the Carnage symbiote. It's hard to think how a piece of the Venom symbiote will fall off without him noticing, unless it's during some kind of weird escape.
It's a weird one where it might just be careless and drop a cell or two in the in the biological sense, in the cell, the captive sense.
Yeah, I get you, but maybe they might even be a bit more daring with it. Maybe the reason why Cassidy gets separated from Brock and not allowed to see him again is because he takes a swing at him with a knife, and Venom maybe protects him with a little bit of fucking bullshit nanotech, but it's symbiote, and it cuts a bit off of him. Maybe that's how they do it. I don't know. It's going to be, at the very least, interesting to see how they incorporate that.
A little bit of beneficial tentacles.
Maybe so. But yeah, there's a ton of other stuff I want to talk about, but we've been rambling for nearly 10 minutes.
Sure.
And I don't particularly want to take too much time up with my week, and the other stuff doesn't really involve my week so much as cool, interesting things I found. So I want to leave off with one tidbit that is relevant to today's episode. Alright? I'm subscribed to the Super Best Friends subreddit. It follows all their individual channels since they broke up, which I feel like was 3 years ago now, which is kind of depressing, but hey ho.
Yeah, well, 1.5 of those years didn't exist, so...
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. Anyway, the subreddit tends to devolve into random bollocks more often than not, which is why I stayed sub. And
sure.
One of the threads that came up was when people acknowledge someone's shitty behaviour in Universe, and the picture they used as an example was, it's either from Steven Universe Future or the movie they did. I can't tell you, but Steven's wearing a different outfit, and he's speaking to Spinell, or someone who looks like Spinell. And the first panel is him just saying, wow, I can't believe my mother would do that to you. The second panel is just like a beat, there's no comment, and then the last panel is him just looking away and just saying, Actually, that sounds exactly like something she would do.
Yeah, that's from the movie. Yep.
That's fucking... I love it when people can acknowledge in their media that, hey, this person isn't a saint, they're kind of shitty.
Man, it's even worse for characters who have passed away. Like, there's a big taboo against dissing the dead.
Well, it's that thing, isn't it? You don't talk ill of the dead, even if the dead was a massive cunt.
Yeah. Like, people put Jay Goody on the pedestal now just because she's dead, but when she was alive, people thought she was a massive racist.
She was a horrible person, but I think the thing that makes people stop bringing that up is no one deserves to go through what she went through.
Yeah, and she left 2 kids behind, so...
She might have had some disgusting views. I don't really know that much about the woman. I don't really care. But I think everyone can agree, like, the silver lining is at the end of her life, she shined enough attention on something that deserved attention.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was. I think it was the thing that they have to get swabbed for every X amount of years, isn't it?
Yeah, like a pap smear or whatever, yeah. But
I honestly don't know. I didn't follow the woman's career and I didn't follow her downfall. Also, I would have been quite young at the time. I was rather ignorant of the road. I still am. I'm just good at pretending I'm not now. Anyway, as Rick started earlier on explaining what we're doing today, shall we line up the first episode?
Yeah, so the first episode we're doing today is episode 26, Ocean Gem, and it follows on from episode 25, which was the last Lapis episode that we did. So, 3, 2, 1, and go!
The sad thing about this being the second part of an episode is we don't get the theme tune.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the end of the episode ended with Garnet just saying, "You're grounded."
Yeah. He's getting a bollocking. Oh yeah, that's not how grounding works. Threatening to get buried. The water's gone. Yeah, Mayor Dewey's got his megaphone again.
How come Greg has that specific type of sunburn, considering he never wears anything other than the vest and shorts? Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, yeah. You never see him without the tan lines. Therefore, he should just have the damn... his tan should be the shape of the clothes that he always wears. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't even told you about the war crimes yet. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely. And the thing is, like, later on you even see you see that Bismuth is the one that cracks Lapis.
Oh, shit.
And Bismuth is one of the Crystal Gem good guys. And good guys in inverted commas.
That's I forgot the lion fucking existed. And apparently so did Greg.
Yeah.
That is an adorably sad attempt to try and fix the problem.
I know, right? It's the most white guy solution I can think of as well. Just use the hose.
Wow!
Garnet just yeets herself out of the bus because she doesn't like she doesn't like metal.
Oh, that's a thing I got told the other... I told you I went on that wiki deep dive because TV tropes and being bored. Pearl is apparently the only crystal gem who can drive.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen her, well, obviously she drives here. She definitely drives towards the end of the series as well. This is where they're first referencing that all the gem monsters are previous gems.
That's quite a fucked up revelation, though, let's be real.
I know, right?
Why would you bring Connie?
Well, it's because she wanted to come.
I understand that, but she, at this point in this... I know I've been informed that at some point she does actually become a legit badass to a certain extent. But right now, she is literally just a normal human child.
Well, yeah, but also she was definitely in the area while everyone in the city was affected by not having the ocean.
Oh, Stephen is adorably naive.
I know, right? I think his correct answer is not let us help you, it's let me help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you stay behind because you didn't even warrant a water duplicate.
Right, yeah. Yeah. How realistic are the weapons that she's forming with that water?
Probably not very, but they are steaming, so.
It's always a worry when Garnet gets fucking thrown flat. Because I know she's more or less the powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's a super fucking stereotypical thing, but that effect is cool.
It is pretty damn cool, let's be honest.
We're allowed to be as violent as we want, it's literally just water.
Yep.
Oh, do you know what that just reminded me of? Fake Amethyst moving that way.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, you remember Star Wars? What am I saying? A New Hope. You know the scene with Han and Greedo?
Mm-hmm.
You know where they enhanced it? Where Han just goes, it? And it's the most weird, unnatural looking thing ever.
Yeah, where he allegedly gets shot and then just he just goes to one side.
Oh my god, that was the coolest thing ever.
I hate fighting me, yeah.
As she pulls out a second spear.
Because she can, and I think it's the first time he gets acknowledged that she just can do that.
I gotta respect Connie for throwing the rock. My god, you're gonna drown them. That's quite fucking...
Yep.
fucked up.
Connie's already drowning. Car.
Greg being a responsible dad.
Yeah.
I love the excuse to have a little bit of an after-school special inserted.
Yeah, a little mini Aesop.
Really easy to forget he's basically Captain America at times. Interesting. Did he do that, or was that Lapis reacting to his emotions?
That's his, I think it's mostly the, it's meant to be the shield, but, like, later on, like, really towards the end of the show, they give his voice actual powers.
Well, she seems to want to talk now, at least.
Yeah.
Yo, having that amount of control over water is pretty impressive.
Yeah, like, her plan right now is to take all the water from Earth and use it to make a tower to get home.
I don't think there is enough water in the world to do what she wants to do.
No, there isn't.
No.
Yeah, you can probably get to the moon with that, though, but that's about it.
Even that's pushing it, I think. So can Stevens breathe in deep space, then?
No. But I think it's Batman rules where, like, space is just the backdrop, and they're probably not actually really that high up.
That's another example of adorable naiveness.
Yep.
Oh, wait, yeah, Stephen can... Yeah, I've completely forgot about that. He needs to cry, doesn't he?
He's got healing spit as well.
Oh, that's real gross, yeah.
Got a wet willy.
Now, I know we had sweaty gemstone thesis at the very start of our Steven Universe adventures, but did we go into depth on how you think they're how sensitive you think their gems are?
Maybe. I mean,
Oh, peace out, motherfucker.
well, the little nod there where he goes, "No prob, Bob," and she like has to think to herself, have I been calling myself Bob this entire time while I've been cracked?
What's the deal with the fucking lion, bro?
It was a normal mortal lion, but apparently Rose just decided, I like this lion, and then when it died, she just revived it, and it became immortal.
Okay.
And it's bonded to Rose, and therefore now Stephen.
Yeah, I get you.
Later on, it happens to other characters that need to be resurrected and come back as pink.
Fair enough. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at what's her name pushing Lars into the water.
Yep.
Oh, that's an adorable attempt to be nice to Greg.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, Greg is literally always crying. You're right.
yep.
I'm going to tab out because we're on the end credits. See, I'm at a bit of an unfortunate place where I've seen scattered episodes of Steven Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said this in one of the earlier episodes, and if I didn't, I've definitely spoken to you about it off the podcast, where I saw an episode way into the future after Greg gets his millions, where Stephen wants Pearl and Greg to bond.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end, they all appear like they're getting on, and then Greg and Stephen fall asleep, and Pearl goes off and sings a song about how she basically fucking hates Greg because she was in love with Rose.
Yeah. It's not a secret that she was very much in love with Rose.
Well, the deal is Greg wasn't actually asleep and listened to the whole song, and at the end of it, they sort of reconcile, but not really. Where Greg's like, yeah, I know it's shitty, but like, can we not like move past this? And I don't actually know what the resolution is because Pearl gives a rather non-committal answer. But I because it's a children's cartoon, I assume they eventually patch things up.
Yeah, I think the general resolution is, can we not be a prick for the sake of the kid?
What happens when your divorced dad ends up having to hang out with the lesbian aunt? Jesus Christ, there's a sitcom in that.
Like, it's the other way around in this case. This is the lesbian aunt who was the one in the relationship, or at least thought she was, and getting bitter at the, not even the divorced dad, it's the widow, the victorious widow.
See, this is why I kind of like fan art and fan comics, because a lot of fan comics, which depict a younger Greg, basically have Greg, Rose Quartz, and Pearl in a weird but happy, three-way polygamous relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I sent you that image the other day of Rose Quartz dressed up as Lady... I fucking forgotten her name, the big titty vampire from the new Resident Evil. And she's saying something along the lines of, whoever brings me human meat shall be rewarded. And it just cuts to Pearl and Greg both blushing furiously. And Pearl saying, Greg, can I give you to the nice vampire lady?
And Greg goes, yes, please.
Oh, jeez, it's so fucking funny. I wish I could tell you who the artist was, but I found it on Reddit, so fuck knows. Man, speaking of Reddit, should I share that embarrassing tidbit of me subscribing to the Steven Universe subreddit?
Oh, and it being sandwiched. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. The normal Steven Universe subreddit is the last subreddit I joined related to Steven Universe, and it appeared on my list, and it's sandwiched between Steven Galaxy and Steven Universe Not Safe for Work, which are... they're not outright pornographic, but they're mostly pornographic.
Okay, so not safe for work doesn't necessarily mean porn.
It's very ecchi.
Yeah, it's something you wouldn't want your nan looking over your shoulder and seeing you engaging with in the middle of a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and seeing as I browse Reddit on my work breaks, I'm just like, I'm fucking glad you can hide not safe for work content. I do wish they had a separate tag for gore, and because I hate clicking on an image thinking it's porn and then getting, I don't know, someone's fingers getting cut off. That's an extreme example and not something that's actually happened, but you get what I'm saying, right?
I wanted boners, not bones.
I mean, I'm sure there's some sick fucks that get off to it, but it's not my fetish.
Yeah, Papyrus fans.
Behold the great Papyrus, and the only impression I can do.
Everyone can do Skeletor, that's the thing.
That is
Wouldn't
the
it be
problem.
really funny if your phone just got a text message right now?
Oh, I'd had a text message about 10 seconds ago, but my phone's on silent while I record. But just
It's it sounds as
but yeah, man, speaking of Papyrus's voice / Skeletor, my most successful year at Butlins, and if you don't know what that means, I'm not going to explain it. It was during Halloween, and I dressed up 2 different nights as 2 different things, because I love cosplay. I'm not good at cosplay. I can do very simple, basic Halloween costumes and then class it as cosplay. But the first night I dressed as a Grim Reaper, and I shit you not, and I'll have to get James in on this conversation one day and have him confirm for me, but every 5 minutes I just randomly burst out going, He-Man! But the problem is every time I did it, the 2 friends I was with fucking burst out laughing, so I kept doing it.
That's the benefit of being at least 5% inebriated, in that you can't. If something is funny, it keeps being funny.
Here's the problem. I wasn't drunk. I just become more of a fun person when I know my actions won't be held against me.
Yeah?
And because I was wearing a mask, I'm like, well, no one's going to fucking point and laugh at me tomorrow. They're not going to know who the fuck I was. That's what happens to me when I become anonymous. Whereas most people, when they become anonymous, become dicks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Hiding behind fucking fake names on the internet and being like, haha, faggot, kill yourself.
Yeah, when you take consequences away, that's normally a license to be a...
Normally, obviously, that's not even normally, it's just the loudest people are dickheads, and that's true in any scenario.
Yeah.
Speaking of the loudest people being dickheads, shall we go on to Peridot's episode?
Yeah.
Alright, Peridot is adorable, but she is a bit of a dick, at least to start with.
So, unlike the previous episode, which was the second part of the 2-parter, this one is very definitely a separate episode. This is episode 44, Marble Madness. So, 3, 2, 1, and go.
For a split second, I thought you weren't going to do the countdown and you'd already pressed play.
No. Again, this is another part 2 episode. Oh, so she got like a Harry Potter kind of book.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's very much like the Golden Compass.
Archimicarus is a fucking great amalgamate. Fuck it. Mash-up of a name.
Yeah, Archimicarus.
And kind of foreshadowing what was Stevonny.
So we just listened to Connie just tell us a story.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, I was enthralled.
Yeah. Splish!
Splish splash, I was taking the O. That is satisfactorily creepy.
It's pretty cool, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he can just do that at will at this point. Did you catch that?
Not quite.
Connie was knocked on her ass and she just said, I love hanging out at your place.
Yeah.
Well, if it's dangerous, she's fucked, isn't she?
She's gonna get gooed, yeah.
Oh, I love hearing Pearl scream in the background, get away from me.
Yeah.
She's meant to...
Oh. The Steven Universe boy.
She has got an obscene amount of fan art on those not safe for work Reddits, and I don't know why.
Because she's an adult. In a series with like 6 adults.
Okay, but the gems should be dominating, and yet she has got so much fan art.
Yeah. Oh no.
It says on the bottom, book 4, you fucking dick! Like, there are some... Like, okay, listen. As someone who reads, or used to read quite a few fantasy series, a lot of them don't tell you what order to fucking read them in, and you gotta Google a fucking list.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, it's so annoying. But when it says at the bottom of the book, book 4, you got no excuse.
Mm-hmm. Like, at least in Star Wars, they actually used to have a big old timeline at the beginning of every book of, this is where this book is meant to come.
Shit, even the movies have that.
Mm-hmm.
If you read more than one book, there's a good chance they like them.
Yep. Just complete defeat.
That's unfortunate, aye. Oh, right, yeah, she has that future sight bullshit, doesn't she?
Oh.
Oh.
Is that one of those instances where Garnet is more interested in solving the problem by smashing it rather than taking care of the root cause?
Except the thing is, because she can see potential futures, she must know that this is futile.
Kind of.
Oh, Poe's exasperated voice, though. I find it odd that she blushed real hard after saying that they keep coming and coming.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my perverted brain at work, but, you know.
Dad tells me weird dad stuff.
That is relatable as fuck, though, ain't it?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like, one of my favourite things would be every so often when you're just sitting on your own with your dad watching some bullshit on TV, and he'd just randomly fucking tell you some part of his sordid past, and you learn of a new crime he committed at some point in his life.
Yeah. when dad stories happen and crimes come to light.
and you're just like, I really want to share this story with someone, but I also don't know if the statute of limitations are in effect yet. Although I'm pretty sure he's in the clear now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remind me once this episode's finished to tell you the graveyard story, because that deserves to be told. That's a fucking weird visual. I don't like that. I do appreciate how I know a bit about this series from tidbits. I know Pearl is technically the oldest.
And
I find it odd yet awesome how she always defers to Garnet.
Yeah. I think it's because she's always deferred to someone bigger than her, and normally it was Rose Quartz.
Right, I get you.
And she doesn't know how to function as her own person, even now.
Well, hopefully that becomes plot relevant and she grows. I'm sure it will.
Kind of.
Also, interesting to note is Pearl's had a costume change at this point.
Yep. She's had a poof.
Because she had the ballerina dress thing on in previous episodes, because I know I commented on that. It's an amazing thing that just by having Garnet look uneasy, it makes me feel uneasy as a viewer.
Yeah. New technology.
Don't like that.
It's now a tiny one.
Yeah, the tiny one's cute, but the way it's born is disturbing. That looks like a big old garnet fist. Oh, okay, it became a hand. That now makes sense.
Yeah, it became a hand.
As I'm talking, it fucking, Man, I get such Invader Zim vibes from Peridot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the kindergartens are basically a flower bed where they use the natural resources of a planet to make new gems.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. There's a lot about gem biology that's weird, though.
Because they are just gay space rocks.
It's one of those weird things where, when you think of Asari and how sexual they are, you're also like, well, they can be as sexual as they fucking want because they don't have a sexual reproduction cycle that's human. Like, if they don't do their mind meld bullshit, they don't get your genetic bullshit. I don't know.
I love how she just conflates him with being his own species.
Well, why would she not, though, innit?
I know, right? Oh yeah, she's just referenced it. There we go.
Oh, right, she's going to think these are all different types of species, just like all the gems are their own species, kind of, technically.
Okay, so later in the series, that list of people becomes relevant.
Okay. Well, she escalated quick, didn't she?
Yep.
Okay. You know back when I said a bunch of people saying how Peridot's autistic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from that one interaction, I can see why they might think that.
Yeah, more interested in the fact that it's her things and not that she's doing...
What the fuck?
Steven's head!
What the fuck was that? Was that on purpose? That looked like a fuck up.
I think it's just... I think it was intentionally off-model.
I missed what she said there.
I think she's more at least one of those...
Why?
I remember this.
Stop it! I don't like that. I like how Garnet can both go, hey, good idea, but also bad idea. I'm going to tab out because it's just the end credits, but... It's weird, isn't it? Because I've seen more of Peridot later on, and she's a lot more adorable later on.
Early season 2, she gets captured, and that's the first time you find out that she's wearing prosthetics because she ejects her leg to try and escape, and that gets noped immediately.
Okay, first of all, didn't know that she had prosthetics. Second of all, so you're trying to tell me that she tried to escape capture like a lizard would
by shedding a leg and making it explode, and then laughing as it explodes, and then getting captured anyway.
I'm going to assume it's Jasper that was fucking with her.
It's a weird one. They team up as like a villainous trio of Jasper, Lapis, and Peridot towards the end of season 1.
Here's the thing: is as far as I understand, because I've not seen it, I've only got absorbed random tidbits from the random subreddits and wiki dives. As far as I'm aware, the only time Lapis teams up with Jasper is not quite teaming up with Jasper so much as I'm going to do this to try and buy you time / help you, Stephen, because I don't want you to die.
Yeah, it's in this weird situation where she's trying to get home because home is where she thinks she needs to go, and all the way home she gets co-opted by Jasper and then brought back exactly where she doesn't want to be, but it's one of those that even though she's been brought to Earth again against her will, she kind of doesn't want to kill Steven, which is why she kind of throws a spanner in the works from the inside.
Well, it's also, I know I said this last time we did Steven Universe because it was a Lapis episode. I have been reliably informed time and time again that Jasper is in an abusive as fuck relationship with Lapis.
Yeah. And it starts when they fuse, because fusion it's weirdly sexual, so you can understand where the parallels come. Like, you've seen the videos of when, like, Garnet and Amethyst.
Oh, I've seen a lot of fusions. Some are cool designs, some are just weird.
Okay, so the actual first time they fuse, they just wiggle sensually to each other until Amethyst dives into Garnet's crotch.
Literally crotch?
Yes, crotch.
That's... yeah. Mind you, I don't think they've ever been shy about it being intimate, at the very least.
Yeah, especially since, specifically, Ruby and Sapphire are absolutely female-presenting.
Well, hang on 1 second, because I remember an episode, again, randomly out of order. In fact, it might not even be that long after the one we just watched, where Pearl fuses with Garnet to make, I don't know, is it Opal?
Pearl and Garnet is Sardonyx. It's the game show host.
Because I've seen that episode where they fuse to destroy a tower Peridot's built, and then Pearl rebuilds the tower overnight just so she can fuse again, and the episode ends rather sadly where Garnet's just like, no, that's fucked up what you did, I'm not talking to you. And I don't know how that resolved, because I saw this episode out of order. I assume it got resolved.
I think it fucked them up so much that it actually had Garnet defuse.
Jesus.
That's how fucked up it is. Like, this union is special to me, you're just treating it as a cheap threesome.
Well, as far as I'm aware, she wasn't treating it as a cheap threesome so much as she wanted the same thing. But she, as a side effect, she cheapened it, but that wasn't her intention.
So she not only wanted the same thing, but she kind of just wanted the feeling over and over again. So she was kind of addicted to the feeling, addicted to the power, and addicted to the union, knowing that it could only be temporary. But that's okay. And I suppose that's the kind of the problem that that the more totalitarian regimes have with this kind of thing. That if a regime doesn't like gay things, and this show has the heroes doing gay things, that country is not going to want this show to be on their air.
I'm going to go ahead and spin a comedian's words here, because it's probably the best way of addressing it. Because we're kind of brushing up against, hey, hating things for the sake of hating things and for no good reason, right? Alright, so there's a comedian. It was a black comedian. I can't remember who it was. I think it was one of the Chris's. I don't know. It might have even been Kevin Hart. I really don't know. I'm digging myself a hole. But he basically said, I don't see the point in hating gay people, because if you hate gay people, guess what? You're going to come home one day and your son's going to say to you, hey dad, I'm gay. Then what are you going to do? You've got a fucking decision in front of you there, haven't you? Either you double down on your hate, or you just go, well, I guess it's okay. He even went the other direction and said, hey, if you're white and you hate black people, guess who daughter's bringing home? It's just like fucking... I don't want to get all sappy and emotional, but like the hate for hate's sake is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, like your three choices are to double down on the hate, become a hypocrite and have a single exception where the one that's relevant to you is okay, or you invalidate your entire rest of your life up to that point.
Well, that's a fucking hard way of putting it. It's not validating what you used to feel so much as, hey, it's a learning curve. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why so many people have a hard time breaking their viewpoints, in that, as a lot of people will be like, I've believed this for 30 fucking years, and those 30 years are lost if I suddenly decide not to believe that anymore. And that's just not fucking true.
Yeah, it's like the sunk cost fallacy of belief.
I fucking hate that fucking logic. Because I know the sunk cost fallacy exists, there's a lot of times where I actively cut my losses now.
Yeah?
Because I just sit down and I think about it and I just go, I've lost this amount of time. And it's like, well, I haven't actually, because if I stop now, I won't waste this additional amount of time.
Yeah. Like, your life has happened until now. Like, nobody's ever getting that amount of time back. All you can do is learn from it.
Yeah, and if you don't learn from it, then all you're doing is wasting more time.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to end the episode on a highlight with my dad's story in the graveyard?
Yeah, let's have the graveyard story.
I don't know if I've ever told you this, Rick. I've certainly told a few of my friends, because I know they're not grasses. Now I'm going to tell the world, because it deserves to be told. bit of context, my dad was a bit of a fucker when he was younger. He was a bit nefarious, shall we say. And he told me a story once of how he used to steal lead from the roof of houses.
Okay.
And him and his mate were walking past the graveyard, and they saw the church, and they saw, well, that fucker's got lead on the roof. So they came back at night time.
Mm-hmm.
His mate was on lookout. He climbed up the fucking church and started pulling off roof tiles to get at the lead or whatever the fuck. Like, I may be telling the story slightly wrong on his motivations, but it involved him taking the tiles off the roof. And he got completely scared shitless because as he was halfway through taking the tile off the fucking roof, all the lights in the graveyard suddenly came on. And he fucking jumped off the roof and ran away. He was convinced the dead were coming alive. Came back about an hour later with his mate, and it turned out it was just the groundskeeper turning the lights on to have a bit of a look around the grounds and make sure everything was all right. But
well, yeah, props to the groundskeeper. He stopped a crime on that occasion.
No, he didn't really stop a crime so long as lengthened the amount of time it took to happen. But you know, yeah, it's one of those things. Oh, jeez. Like, you get very depressing stories from certain people, but every so often they'll give you a gem of something absolutely stupidly insane. Have I ever told you about the time he tried to burn his car for insurance money?
No.
He told his friend, "Alright, you've got to get the fluid.
Right.
You get it, you meet me here, I'll leave the car, and we'll set it up." And his fucking mate only went and bought fucking gaslighter fluid.
Well now.
And my dad told me they spent an hour and a half filling this car with gaslighter fluid to try and set it on fire. My dad did not hang out with a very clever crowd by the sounds of things.
No. Yeah, you definitely not told me that one either.
And I'm like, this is a story from like the 70s, so I'm pretty sure he's in the clear. Well, also other obvious reasons. But yeah, man, I'm gonna have to dig through my brain and think of other things he's told me through the years and share them on this podcast every so often, because like, there's some fucking gems.
Well,
yeah, that's an odd. That pun was not intended, but hey ho. Yeah. Very quick announcement before we wrap up the episode. We've got a Twitter now. We're on the Twitter. I've sent one tweet and it said, "Let's go." If you want to know what we're doing on the podcast as far as next episode is concerned, please follow us on Twitter. We'll tweet every so often, tell you what we're doing, what our next episodes are planned at. I'm probably going to try and start and get into the habit of tweeting when we're recording and letting that be a little bit of a teaser. But that seems like a perfectly natural stopping point with our little plug. So thanks for watching as ever, guys. If you've made it to the end of this podcast, you are our favourite person. And do tune in next week. Same space time, same space channel.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.